What was the dumbest reason your husband divorced you? My husband asked me to sit down after dinner because he needed to talk. He looked me dead in the eye and said, I want a divorce. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so random that my brain rejected it. I actually said, okay, seriously, what's going on? And then he slid divorce papers across the table. Already signed. My stomach dropped. I kept asking why, but he wouldn't answer. He just kept saying, you know what you did. The problem was, I absolutely did not. I spent the next week replaying every second of our marriage in my head. Did I forget an anniversary? Did I embarrass him somehow? Did I accidentally destroy something valuable? Nothing made sense. Then things got worse. His family started treating me like I was some kind of criminal. His mother unfriended me on Facebook. His sister posted one of those vague status updates about toxic people eventually revealing themselves. Even his grandma called me, his 83-year-old grandmother. She told me she was disappointed in me and hung up before I could say a word. At that point, I was losing my mind. Nobody would tell me what I had supposedly done. Just endless comments about how I should be ashamed of myself. I started wondering if he had made the whole thing up. Maybe he wanted out of the marriage and needed a villain. Maybe I was just the easiest target. Months passed. Eventually, we met with lawyers to finalize everything. The entire time, he refused to look at me. Like I had personally ruined his life. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Right there in the conference room, I asked him one last time. What did I do? Nothing. So I asked again. What exactly did I do that was bad enough to end our marriage? The room went silent. His lawyer looked uncomfortable. My lawyer looked curious. My husband slowly turned toward me, and for the first time in months, he actually answered. He said, you really don't know? I said, obviously not. He shook his head. Then he said, 3 years ago, I sent you a funny video. I blinked. A video? Yes. I waited for the rest. There wasn't any. Just a video. Apparently, 3 years earlier, while he was at work, he had sent me a meme. I saw the notification. I got distracted, and I forgot to open it. That's it. That was the crime. For 3 years, that message stayed marked as unread, and somehow in his mind, that meant I didn't care about him. He spent years building resentment over a meme. Years? I stared at him. My lawyer stared at him. Even his lawyer stared at him. I finally said, you're divorcing me because I didn't open a video? And without a hint of embarrassment, he said, if it was important enough to send, it was important enough to watch. Nobody spoke for about 10 seconds. Then his own lawyer quietly took off his glasses, rubbed his eyes, and whispered, sir, it was a video of a cat falling off a couch. I signed the papers. And as I walked out, I remember thinking that somewhere out there was a woman about to marry a man who could hold a grudge against an unread cat video for 3 years.